Megan Olivi here with a fired up Dana White. UFC 133 has just ended. All right, Dana, let's talk about the main event. Rashad Evans, after 14 months of drama surrounding him and his training camps, were you impressed with his outing?
I was blown away by it. You know, I'm one of these big believers in ring rust and taking time off, and especially for a guy. Rashad isn't 26 years old. He's 31, and I felt like he wasted a lot of time. These guys typically fight 3 times a year. Rashad could have fought 5 fights in the time that he was off. Realistically, you know, in a real world, he could have fought 4, you know, and that's a big deal. And he went in tonight and fought a well-prepared. Let's not talk about 2 weeks' notice, because it wasn't 2 weeks' notice because Tito was already in shape. You know what I mean? Tito had just come off a great camp, a great win that he took no damage and won in the first round, took a week off, which is awesome. That's a good thing, and then jumped back into camp again. And Tito fought like it tonight. And Rashad just looked, he blew me away.
Do you think the move to South Florida was the best decision Rashad could have ever made? I mean, we saw him look physically better than he's ever looked, and he also seems more motivated and a little bit calmer. He seems determined to get that belt from John Jones, but there seems to be a peace around Rashad as well.
Well, in my opinion, the Florida thing is a good thing because he's so fired up and pissed off about what went down. He hates John Jones. He is angry with his old training camp and the way that he feels he was disrespected and handled. He was there before John Jones, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that what went down has insanely motivated him.
All right, let's talk about the guy who lost the main event tonight, Tito Ortiz. You know, he came out there at UFC 132, submits Ryan Bader, puts himself back in the top 10, and then loses to the #1 contender. Where does this put Tito now in the light heavyweight division?
I think it puts him in an interesting place because he fought the #1 contender tonight and didn't look like shit. You know what I mean? He didn't look like shit, and he didn't really get run over. If he could have hooked that other leg around and got full guard on that choke, that would have been interesting to see. So I'm actually very impressed with how Tito has turned this thing around. You know, when he asked me for that fight, I didn't have to give that to him. You know, people think that there's this animosity and that I hate guys and I get all this. It's such bullshit. I could have said no to Tito. It's over. You know, I hate him. We never had a good relationship. He's always doing this and that. The guy asked for another opportunity. I gave it to him. He went out and made the most of it. He looked damn good doing it. And then he jumps right back in and accepts this fight with Rashad. I think Tito, for the first time in his entire career, has made 2 very good decisions. Not only did he do what he did, but you know, he's just gotten paid back-to-back in less than a month, and Tito ain't cheap.
Yeah, that's a lot of money he's making. But another guy that was impressive tonight was Vitor Belfort. He came out there, blitzed Akiyama, got the knockout quickly. Is that the Vitor you expected to come out against Anderson but didn't?
Yeah, and I don't think that he didn't come out that way against Anderson. I think Anderson didn't get him the shot. One of the things that it's like my only criticism with Vitor Belfort is he freezes sometimes and doesn't let his hands go. And that's why I thought that tonight it would be an interesting fight because Akiyama wouldn't let that happen. Akiyama's in your face the whole time, pressing. The problem is he stood in front of Anderson Silva too long. You can't stand in front of that guy. He can do things to you that other people can't do. So who knows if he would have if he would have let his hands go, who knows what would have happened with the Anderson fight.
Is Vitor now on the UFC PR staff? Because at the press conference, he's pretty much hyping up the UFC in Rio Brazil fight. He was so excited, saying it's going to be bigger than soccer in Brazil in like 3 years.
I was going to go jump on the plane and let Vitor take over tonight. He was killing it. Yeah, you know, Vitor's a smart guy. He's a charismatic guy. And if there's one thing that Vitor is, he's dialed in Brazil. You know, he knows what's going on down there. And he's right. There's things like wildfire down there. And, you know, people are into it.
Let's talk about his opponent tonight. Akiyama has now lost 3 in a row. But out of his 4 fights in the UFC, he's had 3 fight of the night bonuses. So do you think it's time for him maybe to move down to welterweight?
Yeah, I would like, we were talking about Akiyama fighting at 170. Right when he came in, and he wouldn't do it. He refused to do it. We'll see. We'll see if that's an option, or you know, we'll see what's next for him.
A welterweight that was really impressive tonight was Rory McDonald. Obviously, you loved that performance over Mike Pyle, but Joe Rogan said something interesting where he said he could be greater than GSP. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he has all the tools. I keep saying, you know, all these kids that are super athletes that could have played something else are getting into mixed martial arts, and I think he's one of them. but yeah, not only do I think that, so does GSP. GSP talks so highly of this kid and thinks he's the next big thing.
Right, we had those great moments in the fights, and then we saw some interesting clothing options, I guess. What was your reaction when you saw that? Did you feel like maybe Hallman was taking this as a joke? He came out there and was stretching in the octagon. It was kind of weird. Did you feel disrespected a bit by that?
I don't know about if I was disrespected personally. I was horrified. I was disgusted. You know, I was a little more upset with the people that work for me that they would actually think that it was okay for him to walk out with those ridiculous shorts on. You know, I don't know, man. It was as bad can get. It won't. Nobody will ever fight in something like that again in the UFC. That I guarantee you.
You're still good with the Vale Tudos, right?
Those were Vale Tudos. I don't know. No, I'm cool with the
little shorts, spandex shorts.
Yeah, the spandex shorts. Yeah, the ones. Those aren't the Vale Tudos. Are like the ones that he was wearing tonight. I'm cool with the George St. Pierre type. You know what I mean? Those are fine. That tonight was disgusting. Nobody wants to look at that. It was bad.
Yeah, as a girl, honestly, don't want to look at it either.
So imagine how guys feel. Okay.
All right, now I've got to ask you finally. Everybody on Twitter's been begging me. Can you explain what happened with Brittney Palmer?
Yeah, nothing happened with Brittney Palmer. It's one of those situations where, you know, Brittney's moved on to other things. She's living in LA now. She wants to be an artist, and she's going to art school, and she has a great relationship with us. She's still doing stuff with us, but it gets so crazy because this is one of those sports where the fans are into everything, and I have no problem talking about anything. How disgusting his shorts were, what happened with me and Tito, you know, all this stuff I'm cool talking about. But sometimes, you know, people want to do their own things and don't want to make a big deal about it. And when people ask me, you know, listen, her dream is to be an artist, and she's chasing her dream. She's going out to LA. She's in an art school out there. There's no problem with Brittney, and Brittney is still friendly with the UFC, and it's all good.
All right, you hear that, people? No drama. Get over it. All right.
Well, that's the other thing. They love drama in this sport, man.
Yeah, well, you've dealt with a lot today, so I know it's very late here on the East Coast. Thanks for a great event, Dana. It was very exciting for everybody here.
Thanks, babe.
Keep checking Heavy.com for more UFC coverage.